What's goody, everybody? It's your girl Nat Clark, and we're back with another episode of the Nat Clark Show. And I got my guy up here. He is from Whittier, California. He's a defensive back at Northern State University, entering his senior year. He's about to graduate this December. He's also creator and a producer of the Behind the Pack on Spotify. He's also the creative producer of Northern State Sportscasting on YouTube. And during his 2023 season, he notched 12 tackles, including 5 solo stops. He also added 1 forced fumble and 1 fumble recovery. And he also recorded 31 kick return yards and was named NSIC All Academic Team of Excellence. And that is Mr. Blake Clay. How you doing, Blake?
Doing good, Nat. Appreciate you having me on. I mean, we were sitting in the bus at the NCAA convention last year, and we were talking about this, and it's freaking awesome to be on here and be doing this with you.
Thank you, Blake. I'm so glad you agreed to hop on the pod. You feel me? Like you said, we talked about it just about a year ago. Ain't that crazy? It's been a whole year since we were at that conference, and it's just things have just been going in the right direction for the both of us. But I just want to sit down with you and just talk to you and ask you how things are going so far.
Yeah, let's do it. I mean, like you said, the last time we talked, we were both like, all right, like we're going in this direction, and it's cool to see you're going there, and it's cool that I know that I'm hopefully heading in the right direction. So let's get into it, man. Let's do it.
Let's go. Let's go. So first off, I just want to ask about your athletic journey. I know you play football at the Division II level. I know that kind of speaks volume that you've been playing football for quite some time. So just tell me about your athletic journey. Did you play other sports? Like, were there any other sports involved? Like, just dive deep into that for a little minute.
Yeah. So I grew up in a really heavy sports family. Both my parents were athletes in high school. And my sister grew up playing softball, and then me and my brother were putting football and baseball as soon as we could. So at 4 and 5, we were putting in football and baseball. Since then, it was like always. I was always football first. Love football. I love baseball too, but football was like my true love. Um, so I grew up playing football, baseball year round, threw in some wrestling, some basketball in the off season. Nothing too crazy. Um, and then once I got to high school, I fully committed to playing football and baseball. So I was playing both in high school. And my junior year, I had a pretty good season. Started reaching out to coaches, and then COVID hit.
Yeah.
So that was my junior year. Baseball got shut down. And then, so my senior year, we didn't really have a senior year because in California, we we weren't even in school until April, I think it was,
Wow. That's a long
of
time.
my yeah, literally like
That's
we
a
were
long
gone,
time.
literally out of school for a whole year. So we were yeah, so we played football in the spring. We only had 5 games, and I think our first game was in March, I believe. Played 5 games,
Hmm.
then ran over to baseball season as soon as football season was done. Played baseball season until the middle of June, and actually committed to Northern right before my senior year of football. And
Okay.
they were my only D2 school that was giving me looks. And I was, at the time, two of my high school teammates were also coming here. And they were the ones that kind of like helped me get this look and get this opportunity.
Right.
And so I was talking with Coach Schmidt and Coach Irie, and they were like, hey, like we want you, that'd be great. But we don't got any money for you. I'm like, that's fine. Like I'll take whatever you guys want to give me.
Yeah.
So actually I was given a preferred walk on opportunity here. And then, yeah, so then I played my senior year of football, senior year of baseball, came up the following month for summer workouts, and then redshirted my first year. And have been fully devoted to being a football player ever since. And that's kind of been my thing. So,
Yeah. That's your passion. That's what you love to do. Um, talk about like you're from California, and I looked up. You're from Whittier, California, which is about what 30 minutes from LA.
yep.
Yeah, so you're a West Coast. I'm all the way on the East Coast from Virginia. Like I'm like 3,000 miles away. But you went to a school in South Dakota. So talk about like that transition, whether it was like lifestyle or even just like football play. Like were there some adjustments you had to make going into like your freshman year and sophomore year, just from going from Cali to South Dakota?
Oh yeah. I came here on my visit, and it was -25. I ain't never been below 40, maybe.
-25.
Negative 25 was the dry temp with wind chills is like -50, -60.
Oh
So
my
I was
god.
like, yeah,
Yo.
that was, bro, the weather was the craziest thing to get used to. Um, and it was insane because, like, West Coast, your winters are a low of 60, a high of 70.
Yeah.
Well, here the winters are literally a low of -25, a high of -13, and it's like,
Damn. That's
you
a big
better
adjustment.
bundle up, dude. So yeah, that was the biggest thing for me personally was the weather. Obviously, I mean that's a huge um, culture change, and then also like the culture of South Dakota. I mean, it was smaller town.
Hmm.
Like you said, so I'm 30 minutes from like downtown LA, about 30 minutes from the beach, about 20 minutes from Disneyland. So I'm literally in the middle of
Wow.
just about anything you could want.
Wow.
And then I come here to Aberdeen. Aberdeen's about 30,000 people, which is the third biggest city in South Dakota, which I think is hilarious. That 30,000 people is the third biggest city,
Wow.
and it's got kind of like this like small town feel to it. Like you go to the store, you go to the restaurants, and you wear your Northern football gear, and they're like, "Oh, like you're on the football team." I graduated from Northern in '84 and was on the all conference team in '82, and um,
I
it's
know
just
they
kind of
love y'all
cool.
down there.
Oh yeah, it's amazing the community support that we get out here. And like for me culturally, like the biggest thing, you can kind of attest to this being from East Coast, is that like everybody's kind of in their own world, right? Like you're
Hmm.
kind of in your own world. You're walking down the street, you're in your own world, and you're going to the store, you're just kind of there to do your stuff and get in, get out. Well, here, like people want to stop and talk to you. Like you make eye contact with someone, they're like, "Oh, hey, how's it going?" Never met this person before, and you're like, "Oh, hey," like, and then by the end of it, you're like, "Oh yeah," like you're exchanging info, and now you see this dude around town
Yeah.
a couple times a week. So,
You probably
um,
showed up at your games too.
literally, I get people that come to my games and they're like, "Oh, hey," I'm like, "Okay, I know your face. I don't remember your name though, man. I feel bad." Um, but yeah, that whole thing of just being like Midwest nice is a real thing,
Mm.
and it was kind of cool for so my job. I cover high school sports out here, and I was telling my boss about it, about just like sportsmanship in South Dakota is insane. And in California, we'll talk a little bit about like playing styles, right? California, like talking trash is kind of part of the game. That's kind of, it's just
Yeah.
what you do. Me personally, I was never a big trash talker just because not really me.
You're
Um,
humble. You're humble. Admit it. You're humble.
I try to be, and so trash talk was just always big. You're like, I'm especially as a DB, you line up across from a receiver, and he's letting you know that he's
Yo,
gonna
I'm
beat you,
stopping you. I'm forcing the fumble.
literally.
I'm getting a stop. Yeah.
Literally. And then you come out here, and I'm covering high school sports, and like I was covering the state track meet. You have these two pole vaulters that are going at it, literally like hitting the same jumps, hitting the same jumps. There's two of them left, and they're cheering each other on, which I thought was the weirdest thing ever.
Right.
They were like, they're like, "Let's go! Like you got it!" I'm like, "Bro, like you're competing against this dude. What do you mean? Like you're cheering him on? Don't you want him to miss this jump?" But
Right.
yeah. So Midwest nice is a for real thing, and I think it's actually like really cool to be a part of and kind of experience that part of it.
Awesome. Yeah, I've only been to the Midwest. One was for the conference,
Yeah.
literally the conference, and then I was just there last month in Ohio, and they, like you said, they were super nice. Like the
Hmm.
host family that I stayed with, like the hospitality was insane. Like she even offered us to like take us grocery shopping, let us
Yeah.
know like if you need anything, we're here, we got you. And I only met them for like 2 minutes. Like
Literally.
they literally like opened their homes up to me and my coworker just to like stay there and make sure we're taken care of. So yeah, I've seen the hospitality myself, and it's there for sure. It's not much here in Virginia, but hey, it's just a
Hey,
different
same
feel.
thing in SoCal. Everybody's in their own world there, and you're just trying to get by. But here, it's nice to be able to conversate with people and be able to talk to people and build relationships. And you never know who you're going to meet. I mean, we talked about it at the NCAA convention. You really
Right.
never know who you're going to
You
meet.
never
And
know.
perfect example of us two right now, literally sitting in the bus going to the airport. I think it was, and we're like, hey,
Yeah. A year later, we're on the five finally.
literally.
So you talked about the hospitality and the transition. What was like the school community like? So you talk about the community in South Dakota and Aberdeen. So what
Hmm.
was the school like? Like, were you close with your professors? Like, how big was the school? What was that community like for you?
So my high school was bigger, or is bigger than Northern, than my college. So I'm in classes in high school of about 30 to 40 kids, right? Here, 5 to 15.
Oh wow.
And I think it's awesome though, because like I got my professor's phone numbers and I'm like
Right.
texting them and I'm like, hey, like, I just want to make sure I'm doing this right. And they text me back and it's like 8 o'clock at night. And they're like, yeah, you're good. I'm like, all right,
Awesome.
cool. Like, it's really cool to be able to build that relationship with professors, especially the smaller class sizes. And I know everybody always wants to go the big D1s. They always want to go to Bama and Ole Miss
Hmm.
and all those. But it's like, there, you're just a face in a crowd.
Right. You're just a
Here,
number.
literally, here, you're like, you get to build relationships. Like my professor texted me the other day asking if I could babysit his kids for him. Like
Wow.
it's just like kind of
Nice.
stuff like that that like you get to experience, and then they like talking about the school community part of it. Like they show up to your games, they show up to your events. They're there with their families, and then you meet their kids and their wives and their husbands or whatever it may be, and it's just like it's awesome to be a part of that. And then like with the students too, like we have a ton of foreign exchange students, specifically from like South Korea and stuff. You get a
Right.
couple classes with a couple of these kids, and you know they're the first ones at your game. They're there before anyone else is there, and they're like, "Oh yeah, like I know that person that's on the field." And I'm like, "Hey, like I know that person. And he's in my speech class or whatever
Yeah.
it may be."
Connections are building. Like, yeah, the relationships are
Literally,
formed. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's so cool because then like you get to following these people on Instagram, and I'm like specifically with like the South Korean students, they go back to South Korea after their time's up, and I'm like following this dude, and he's just like touring the world. I'm like, dude, that's awesome. I had one class with you, and like we were able to build that connection because there's 10 people in this class, so like you get to know everyone. It's just an awesome environment to be around, especially like I was saying, like you get to really know everyone. You get to be close with everyone, and some people kind of think that it's lame out here because there's not much people, there's not much to do. But it's like, to me, it's like you're not even trying. Like, you
Mm.
gotta like, if you put yourself out there, you're gonna have a good time, and that's what it really is. Is just building those relationships, and it's just awesome.
Awesome. Yeah. I kind of laugh at how you said like your high school was bigger than your college because I literally had that same experience. Like
Yeah.
my graduating class from Randolph was 91 kids. We had less than 1,000 kids, like total student population. Like
What?
that's how small Randolph and Lynchburg is. So the fact you said that you had like connections with your professors and you knew their wives or their husbands, their kids, or whatever the case may be, like I kind of had that same connection with my professors and like that relationship was formed. And like you said, like you would text them, hey, is this assignment good? I literally
Yeah.
did the same thing. Like, and I just love like how I was able to form relationships with these people who are not only teaching and pouring into me to learn, but also just to like build and like have like a friendship, like you know what I'm saying, after school. So like I just laugh at that because any of my friends like or people that I've talked to, like, yeah, I went to UNC, I went to UVA, lecture class was 300 people. I don't think student capacity hit past 35, to be honest with you. And
Literally.
yeah, so I kind of laugh at that because I'm literally in the same boat, like just having that relationship with them is just awesome. So the next question, or just to mention also, you're a creator of your own podcast and you're
Hmm.
also co-creator, co-producer of your own podcast on Behind the Pack on Spotify and Northern States YouTube channel. How did that come to form? I know we mentioned it, we talked about it a little bit at the conference, but tell me the whole backstory. Like, how did that get started out, and what was y'all's vision before, like just going in? You feel me?
Oh yeah. So my it was my sophomore year. Yeah, my sophomore year I'm in this class. It was one of my communications classes, and one of the like, the icebreakers, oh hi, I'm Blake, I'm from Whittier, I play football, and the final question was like, what's your dream job? And I was like, I want to be a sports broadcaster.
Yeah.
And then this other guy also had the same thing. And then so he was like, hey, like I'm actually like trying to get together this like podcast for the school. Like, are you in? I'm like, bro, like I'm in, count me in. So then over summer, it was a lot of emails back and forth, a lot of like trying to get it registered as a class kind of thing, a lot of moving pieces. And we
Mm-hmm.
finally got it like locked in. And it was in conjunction with like a podcasting class, and we had a really good studio, really good instructor who like helped us kick it off. Like he kind of like showed us the ropes a little bit. You know, you learn how to use OBS, you learn how to use um, Adobe, and you learn how to use a couple other things, DaVinci, and
Nice. Yeah.
he kind of like helped us out. And it's funny, so it was me and John Jacklin who started it, and it was just us two, and we would sit down and we would talk. The vision was just, you know, like let's talk about weekly podcasts about Northern athletics. Let's get it out into the community. Let's give people a little bit more of an inside look on what Northern athletics look like. And our whole goal is to bring on at least one interview every week. Student athlete, someone who had a really good week, someone who's been good for the season, good for the team, good for the community, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because like we talked about it earlier, like with the community here, you see all these people at the games which don't really know who they are, like as a person. You see them compete on the
Yeah.
field, but you're wondering like, hey, what's Nat Clark like off the field? You know? And it's just
Right.
cool to be able to provide that insight for people. So that was our whole mission, was to kind of get an inside look, and that was the reason behind her name, was like behind the pack, like behind the scenes, behind the pack,
Yeah.
because
Clever.
we're the
Yeah.
right. It was like I wasn't me that I think John came up with that. So then it was just me and John Jacklin, and we would chop it up and we would talk, and then we would edit the episode afterwards. And it was very basic editing, you know, just cut here, oh I messed up here, I said the wrong thing here, cut that, snip that, shorten this, intro music, outro music, that's really it.
Right.
And then John graduated, and then we kind of expanded our team. So then I brought in a new co-host, Niall Hessen, after John Jacklin graduated. Niall Hessen came in. Me and Niall were kind of doing it, and then one of our friends, John Schwab, um, was like all he's or they were the only film major, I believe, in the school,
Okay.
and they wanted to like kind of um, learn how to do podcasting and stuff. You know, kind of the same thing like me and you are doing. Like we're just trying to broaden our realms. We're trying to get as much
Mm-hmm.
experience as we can.
Right.
And so John, great person. They were like, "Oh, like, would you guys mind if I edited your podcast for you?" And I'm like, "Please, like, please, like, you don't gotta ask me twice. Like, take
Right.
it." And so then once John took it over, the whole editing, the audio mixing, all that stuff, our podcast like really took off from a quality standpoint, and it was just so cool to see. It's funny, we always joke around on our podcast too. You listen to our first episode, I'm on my mic, I'm talking in the left ear, and John Jacklin's talking into your right ear. And then
Mm.
now it like, because we didn't really know any better, we just kind of set it up, and that was the way we did it.
Right.
And then now we have like insane music to go along with it. John Schwab did a great job at like um, messing with our audio levels, making us like sound really cool. Like my voice sounded a lot deeper. I was like, dang, I actually sound cool.
Sound professional, you know?
Literally, I was like, I feel like it was just cool to kind of see that grow for like the behind the pack. And I think we ended up interviewing like 60 something people over the 2 years that we've done it, and just really growing and talking to everyone. And now I have to. Niall graduated, or Niall's going back to Arizona for student teaching, so I had to find a new co-host. So I'm bringing on Maggie Kruger. She's a freshman pole vaulter at our
Mm.
school, and so I kind of brought her on to kind of fill in the void. So we're going into our third year of doing it, and the goal is to kind of just keep it going after I graduate, and that's why I want to bring on Maggie. And Maggie's does a great job. We run. There's another thing that I do that we haven't talked about, but I run or help co-host a TV show at Northern, and it
Okay.
goes on a local like news kind of thing. I don't really know. It's
Awesome.
cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, and then with the whole YouTube thing, that was kind of the semester after we started behind the pack. We were like, okay, like we want to start doing some like sports broadcasting stuff. Like, what do we got
Right.
to do for that? And then so we kind of started this YouTube channel, and the same thing was in conjunction with the class. We had to talk to course registration and all that. And so it was only four of us. It was me, John, Eleanor, and Aiden, and then an exchange student from South Korea. And we kind of just took the reins and ran. We'd try to pump out a video every week. We would make like news shows, like mock news shows,
Mm.
and we did some fun stuff. We took all the football players out to hit off the softball pitchers, because football players got enormous egos and think that they can do anything. And
They can
then
play any sport, like.
literally, I'm like, bro, no, you can't. Hitting a softball is one of the hardest things to do.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, it is.
so we kind of just did that, and then kind of it was really cool. It was a lot of autonomy, being able to. Our professor was super cool, and it was like would help us out here and there, but it was always like, hey, you're on your own. Like produce whatever you want. So we
Mm.
had like literally full creativity range to kind of do whatever we want. We did a sketch video, like football players walking out and read like making like sketch impressions. So it was honestly that was like a really great thing to be a part of and to kind of start and kick off and kind of set other people up who are like minded and in my sense who like wanted to do stuff like that but didn't necessarily have a way to do it. Well, now there is at Northern, and it's just great to be able to help kids out and to provide that means to kind of continue doing what you want to do, and it's fun. Like you get to make content. Like being a content creator is fun.
Yeah, it is. I'm
So
now starting to like realize that creating content is actually fun, minus the hard work behind it. But hey, it's fun. Like,
right.
so I also like. So you said like the school helped you like get it going. Did they also provide like money wise like microphones and headsets? So they funded. They actually funded and poured into y'all to actually
Yeah, so
keep running.
they had all that stuff there already, and it was kind of like, okay, like we need to get someone to use this all because it's kind of just like sitting here. So we were like, well,
Okay.
perfect. So we had a whole studio. We had three mics, like really high quality mics, which was awesome, and a whole editing software, the whole everything. We literally just walk in and we press record and we talk into mics, and then everything, and then John would take care of all the behind the scenes stuff. But yeah, they have a ton of cameras. Where a really big like media school, kind of like film and media kind of thing. So we had a ton of resources to do all that. A ton of cameras, a ton of mics, mics to go into cameras, mics to go into the podcasting studio. We moved podcasting studios into a bigger room, and yeah, there's just plenty of resources that were there. And it was just cool to be able to kind of put those to use. I mean, they're not cheap; like they're expensive. So to
Right.
be
It's
able to
expensive stuff. Yeah.
yeah, so to be able to kind of show, donors and stuff that provide money for that, like, hey, it's actually being put to use, and it's hopefully being put to use in a good way. So,
Right. They were just waiting for somebody to like step in and be like, "Hey, I want to do a podcast." Well, come right on in. Like,
literally,
we're
that's
only
all it
yeah,
was.
and that's all it took. So you said like also like starting out the quality and like things could have been better. And you also mentioned like your vision, like, "Hey, I want this to keep going after I graduate." With that vision being like implanted in your head that first year, do you see it really like taking off after you graduate? Like, is it still there?
Yeah, it was kind of cool to see that vision grow. Like initially, it was like, oh, like let's have fun, like like let's just talk and let's have fun, let's build my resume kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was like, okay, like this can actually be like something. Like it doesn't have to be just like a one semester, 2 semester thing. Like this can actually be like a program here at Northern. And now it's like it's cool to see that really grow into fruition and see people who are interested in like wanting to continue this and wanting to do what I'm doing after I graduate. So that's like it's just so cool to see like people are interested in, and like we were saying, and like seeing that vision come into like reality to be like, oh, like yeah, like it's a for real possibility.
Awesome. Now, the people also like the people that you work with and they're on like the podcast, they're athletes. I know you mentioned one of the girls is an athlete, so but they're all
Mm-hmm.
athletes. Okay, and they're all passionate about like producing and media and stuff like that, or is that just something like a resume builder? I guess.
Right. No, it was all super passionate about doing it. So John Jacklin was my first co-host, and we started it together. It was more so he did a lot of the background work for it, but John Jacklin was a cross
Mm,
country runner, and now he is the lead sports anchor at a news station in Minot.
mm,
So he was definitely real passionate about it. Brought on Niall. He's a baseball player, and he was real passionate about talking sports. I think he actually I know for a fact he's a history ed major,
mm.
and but he just really loved talking sports. He has his own podcast on the side, and he just wanted to be a part of something and be able to kind of give back to the community. Maggie is super passionate. She's only a freshman, but she's got super high ambitions, super high goals. She's a really good photographer. Took like all the cross country, or not cross country, but took all the track pictures from the season, and like a ton of like awesome stuff that's already being put out. And then it's just pole vaulter. And then John Schwab was not an athlete, but um, they just love to do things and be a part and be involved and help out um, and grow their resume, because John was an amazing film producer. They produced their own movies, won like awards and stuff, like Midwest awards, like super good at producing movies, has a crazy creative side. And the only thing that they didn't really have too much experience in was podcasting. So it was perfect for them to be able to grow in that field and be, hey, I created movies, I directed movies, and I also can do podcasting. So
Yeah.
they're really passionate about just bettering their resume, I guess I would say.
Yeah. So it's like you had all the pieces and it all came together. So from what I'm hearing, like you had somebody for good with photography, videography in this field, good with editing and producing over here, and then the guys just talking like about sports and what's happening on your campus and behind the scenes with that athlete, with that team. Like that sounds like an awesome like team just coming together like time after time. So that's awesome. Like, and I've seen some stuff on Twitter with what y'all posted and like the links you always post, and I think that's just so awesome. Like just from like starting ground zero into seeing what it is now
Mm-hmm.
and hearing the story behind it. Like I think that's so amazing. Like I wish Randolph did something like that because that's just like awesome. Like that's great.
Yeah, it really is. It's super cool to see that. And like you were saying, like we had a full team. So our team this past semester, me, Niall Hessen, John Schwab, um, Cade Trenhale, and Jake Steinbrück. Cade and Jake didn't really do too much. Jake kind of built stuff and had the keys to open up the door. Cade would come in every now and then and just, shoot the crap with us and just joke around. He's a really good photographer, videographer, and stuff. And like you're saying, it's really cool to see like that whole team atmosphere. I mean, being an athlete, you being an athlete, you know this, but you just want to be a part of a team. So to have
Yeah.
that team atmosphere was amazing.
Awesome. How what was it like talking with the athletes on your shows? Like
It's so cool. Like kind of like how you did it with me right now. Um, like researching, right? Like, oh, you're from Whittier. Let me figure out where Whittier is at, because a lot of these kids are from. I say kids, they're literally my age or older. A lot of these athletes are from like the middle of nowhere of Abbott or of South Dakota,
mm,
and I have to like look up. I'm like, all right, like where is this at? Like I have no idea where this is at, but it's really cool to hear everyone's story. And like we had a wrestler come on and talk about how he committed to one of our rival schools, and our wrestling coach drove down 4 hours to go visit and say like, no, like I need you to come wrestle for me. Like that's stuff that like you don't hear. And this dude was a All-American wrestler. He won some open division champ recently, and
mm,
but it's just really cool. And like you get to know these kids like around school. You get to know them and like who they are in class and stuff. But to like dive a little bit deeper into like who they are, we had a cross country runner come on and he had like 10 or 12 siblings or something like that, and they were all
wow,
homeschooled.
that's a lot of
But
siblings.
like that stuff, like I knew the guy like very vaguely. I knew he married a soccer player, and but to I had no clue he had multiple like tens of siblings, and it was just
Mm,
it's so cool to like see all these stories and hear all these stories. And I don't know, I just think it's cool to learn more about people, and especially give that to the people in our community too.
yeah,
It's just cool.
yeah. Do you think like starting like the podcast and then the YouTube channel and then the local station, like, do you think that helped elevate NSU sports on your campus? Do you think so? Do
I
you believe that?
I think so to a sense. It's really cool because like we had transfers come in, and we had the transfer football player come in, and he's like, "Oh yeah, like I was looking at Northern to kind of like see what was going on, and I saw something about like a podcast and stuff, and I thought that was like really cool." I'm like, "Oh yeah, like that's me. I run that." He's like, "You do?" I'm like, "Yeah, like that's me."
Yeah.
And he's like, "What?" Like, "Oh, dude," he's like, "I was totally stalking your the page and stuff, and I just thought it was really cool." So yeah, I think it's really cool to see because like I go around. I was helping out. We have it's called Day of Champions, but you go around and you volunteer for all this. Every student athlete at Northern goes around and volunteers for a full day. It's like
Mm,
3 hours or something. You just go out. You help out with like the homeless shelter. You help out with
Nice.
like Goodwill, Salvation Army, kind of stuff like that, just around town. And we're helping out at the Habitat for Humane Society, which was it's basically like a thrift store. And we had to go pick up these couches from this guy's house. And we get there and we're driving back with the guy who, older gentleman, super cool guy, and he's like, I know your face, man. Like, where have I seen you before? And I was like, oh, like, I kind of do a lot through school. He's like, are you on TV? I was like, yeah, like I am on TV. He's like, yep, that's where I seen you. And it's just like, it's cool to see that, like, the athletic side and that it's reaching people. Like, that's what I think is amazing.
That is amazing. That's awesome, yo. That's like really awesome. I don't think I've ever heard anybody like start
Right?
something with a
I was
team
like,
and then yeah.
I was floored. I texted my mom. I was like, Mom, guess what? Someone just recognized who I was. And I was like, oh, it was so cool.
I bet you she was more excited than you, yo.
Oh, 100%.
So also, so you're going into like your senior year of football. What is the team looking like this year? What was y'all stint from last season going into this season?
So last year we started off 0-4, right? Tough. And then we went on to win five straight, and it was like, okay, like we might have a chance to make the playoffs. Like this is actually insane. We started off 0-4. We lost our 10th game and then won our 11th game, so we ended off the year 6-5.
Okay.
And it was like, okay, like we just won six out of our last seven games. Like this is an insane momentum going into next year. And we lost some key pieces, as you always do. You always lose key pieces, but
Yep.
with the transfer portal and bringing guys in and stuff, and we filled a lot of holes that we didn't have depth at. We had guys there, but the depth necessarily wasn't there. Um, so it's a real exciting season, and we'll go back to talking about the community of it all. Like you're wearing a Northern State football sweatshirt around town, and guys like, hey, how are you guys going to be this year? Your quarterback's back. What about this guy and this guy? And like I saw that you picked up a receiver from this place, and it's like, yeah, like it's real exciting to be able to see all this kind of come into play. And we have summer workouts out right now, and seeing all these guys out and all these transfers that are coming in and being able to mesh with the team and build that chemistry with a team that was already super tight before. Just have
Right.
these guys being able to come in and just like fill in and like mesh like it's mold. Like you just come in and you're molding each other together and you're building this culture and um, this environment that's around the team. And I think that's really what's going to help us take us to the next level. Um, we have the talent, we have the coaching, it's all there. It's just now let's
Now
figure
it's
out
time
how
to
to play.
execute.
Literally,
Yeah. So y'all started summer workouts. When did y'all start? Because when you told me you was
June.
up in school, I was like, he's back already. Like,
Yeah, dude. We started June 2nd. So
June 2nd. Okay, so
I
beginning
went home for about a week and a half, and then I came back up here, started working, and then workouts started right after. So
right after, and then y'all first game was like what, August? Yeah,
ours is September 6th.
September.
Yep.
September. Cool, cool, awesome. I also had another question. Hold on one second.
Oh, you're good. I mean, I do it all the time too. I'm like, all right, and I close my computer. I'm like, wait, I had another question I need to ask.
Yeah. So I know like you're passionate about like broadcasting and like sports and like kind of like me. You do a
Hmm.
lot of play. I know you mentioned to me like you do a lot of play by play stuff. What are some like your favorite like sports to do play by play by? Like I mean play by play. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I haven't gotten able to do it yet, but football, obviously, like that's the ones where I know the most about. You can't do any. It's hard to do play by play for like high school and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
especially like because it's the same season. But I did a couple games for our softball team, and I just thought that was amazing. I had such a great time. I grew up around softball. My sister played softball, so I knew the game really well,
Nice.
and it was really cool to be able to do that. I enjoyed softball so much, and honestly, that is something that like I would definitely be interested in. I think football is really fast paced, so it's going to take me some time to kind of get into it. Whereas softball is a little bit more slower paced. It's more storytelling, and um,
Yeah.
but I love doing softball. It was a ton of fun, and being able to kind of do that for our softball team was amazing.
What about basketball?
Basketball is up there. I haven't done basketball yet. It's really fast paced too. That's what
It
I'm worried
is.
about because
It
it's
is
like
fast
like
paced.
I just can't imagine like you're just talking like the whole game, and I just think that's a skill that I need to develop for sure. So hey, if someone's looking for a basketball play-by-play announcer, hit me up. I'm ready.
Would you like? Would you put play by play above like commentating,
See,
or
I
would you
think I'd
put
be
it
a
like below it? Because
it,
commentating, like you could just give out like your insights, what they did
yep.
good, what they did bad. Like you can give out so much opinion. Whereas play by play, you're like, all right, this happened to this, then boom, 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 boom. Like, what would you like rank? Like, where would you put that?
I would much rather do color commentating. I think one of my strengths as an individual is just the way my mind works, and I think that's a cool thing to be able to share that with other people. So I would say color commentating, but it's a little bit more difficult for me to do color commentating on basketball, a sport that I didn't really play. You know, like
Hmm.
you're sitting watching a basketball game and you're listening to this guy talk about the mind of basketball players. And you look him up and he's like, oh, he's a football player. What does he know about basketball? You know.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
so that's where I would feel more comfortable doing like play by play. But in football, baseball, softball, I would feel a lot more comfortable doing color commentating, being able to provide a little bit more of that insight because I think that's just so cool to for the viewer to know, like, oh hey, it's 3rd and 10. This is why they're running this play. This is why
yeah.
this person's doing that. So
Mm. What got you into like broadcasting? I know it took me a minute to get into it, but like, what got you into it? Like what was that? What was that like?
ever since I was little, I always knew I wanted to be in sports. Right? You grow up and you're like, I want to be a professional football player. I want to be a professional baseball player. That was your dream.
Hmm.
Well, as a 5'8", 140-pound defensive back, I was like, all right, like let's be a little realistic here. League's not looking too hot. Um, so I was like, like what I am passionate about just talking about sports, and you grow up watching ESPN before school and stuff like that, and it's just
Hmm.
like it's what you like. For me personally, that's what I really grown accustomed to was kind of wanting to do that. So I thought that was really cool. And I was like, oh, like, can I actually like do that as a living? And it's like, yeah, like I totally can. Like, so for me, it was just a ambition to just want to do it. I never necessarily had like experience, so to say, but it was just like, this is what I am passionate about. I'm passionate about sports. Let me get into the world of sports and how can I continue to do that for the rest of my life? You can't play sports for the rest of your life, but you could talk sports for the rest of your life.
Right,
So
exactly. Yeah, same. Like I know, like growing up, I knew like the WNBA was starting to be unrealistic, but it was like, how can I still be fine tuned with sports?
literally.
And then I kind of just my parents honestly kind of noticed how analytical I was when it came to certain
Mm-hmm.
things, and how I would like date back when what game happened and how this person played and like what was their stats. Like I just
Yeah.
they noticed how analytical I was then, and that kind of like made me want to be like, oh, what if I like did reporting, or like what if I did
Mm-hmm.
production, like, and that turned into a passion. Like I thought that like that's I thought I was like, yo, like maybe I can like keep this up, you know what I'm saying? When like
So my
watching.
grandpa used to call me Rain Man when I was little. I don't know if you ever seen that movie. I've never seen the movie. I still haven't seen it to this day. But apparently, it's this movie about this like data guy. He's on the football team, but he's got autism, and his like focus is like data and like stats and stuff like that. And they would call me Rain Man when I was little because like same thing like you were saying, like little stats, little hey, this way back in this day this team beat this team because of this play. And it's just
Right.
like I would literally just spurt off like little facts like that off the top of my head, and so they would call me Rain Man. So that was kind of the same thing. I'd have all my grandparents and stuff be like, hey, like you can talk, I think you'd be really good at doing what Joe Buck does, or whatever it was. So I was the same exact way.
Awesome. Okay, so I have a closing question for you. What are some goals for you heading into this final school year? You talked about football, your journey coming up to your last season. You talked about
Mhm.
the podcast, where it was then compared to now, and then YouTube and you being on TV and talking about NSU sports. Like, what are some goals? What's the end goal that you want to see before you graduate?
Honestly, it's just kind of being able to finish out strong. I think we've built a really great platform and a really great like foundation, but to be able to kind of see this continue to grow and like have people lined up to be able to take on this stuff, and already got one great co-host in Maggie Kruger who will do it, and it's just like I think that's going to be my biggest goal is kind of in aspects of the sports like media stuff is to see it continue and have a plan lined up for people that are going to take it on past me, and being able to do that um, for years and years and years to come. Like me and Niall joked about it on the podcast where we're like 30 years down the line, I want to be listening to Behind the Pack on Spotify. Like I want to be able to kind of set people up for success, to be able to continue to do that for however many years they're going to allow it. So that's the goal that I'm shooting for.
Awesome. You want to leave it better than where you found it.
Literally, I was if I could set people up for success and have their podcast sound a lot better than mine, then I'm gonna be stoked about it. Like that's what's gonna make me happy. Not that I like sure like I want to be a good podcaster, but if I can help people be better than I am, that makes me more happy than it would to see myself succeed.
That's awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you, Blake, so much for your time. I'm so glad you agreed to hop on the episode. I definitely wanted to hear your story, and I'm glad I got to hear a year later. But hey, we're not gonna talk about that. But
Hey, I'm not complaining at all. I'm just glad that we were able to get up on here and chop it up, and I'll have to return the favor at some point, and we'll get you on northern something, and we'll get you in. I got you.
yeah, I'm an ally. I'm an ally. Yeah.
Let's go Wolves, baby. Come on.
Let's go. But thank you again, Blake. I appreciate your time. Thank you all for listening and watching. This will be available on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. I'll have the link down and below. And also have Blake's tag so that way you can follow him, tag him. Thank you all again for tuning in on this lovely Father's Day evening. Make sure y'all stay safe out there, and God bless. We'll see y'all next time.